All right. Hello, hello. Welcome to the Right Way Week. I am just going to get my stuff set up here as people come in. Welcome, welcome. Make sure I have all of my audio on. All right. Awesome. You guys are rolling in. There is a chat at the bottom as well as Q&A. Both are open. You can ask questions at any point. I will make sure to answer those questions at the end of each day, as well as there's a chat too. You can put it in there. But I'd love to know where you're from and what you are hoping to learn this week from me in the Right Way Week. That helps me really understand who's in my room with me. And so I can make sure to touch on the points that you're hoping to learn from. During this week, I will use a slide deck. So that way you have a visual thing that you're following with me. But you'll also have audio replays via podcast and also video. So you'll have both of those. But I try to use a lot of words to describe what I'm talking about. But just so you know, if you're listening to the replay on podcast, you might feel like you're missing out on a couple of things. That being said, nothing will be that big that you will miss out on anything on podcast. So let me know in the chat where you're from, what you're hoping to learn this week, and also any questions you have and any aha moments. It's just me on this side of the screen, and it's kind of lonely sometimes. Like I see people in here, but I don't actually see you. So I love to know who's here with me. What are you hoping to learn? Where are you from? So that I can get to know you and know where you're all at. So awesome. Okay. I'm going to share my screen. And I'm not exactly sure that was the right screen. Hold on, let me do one more time. There we go. Okay. All righty. So we are doing the Right Way Week. I absolutely love the Right Way Week. I've done this a few times, but every time I leave with something new and teach something new. And it also helps you all really understand how we really lose weight the right way, because there is a right way to lose weight. There is a way that isn't helpful for you. There is a way that puts you into a deeper hole than what you already are. So I'm so excited to teach you all about weight loss and how to lose weight, especially in midlife. Because as we reach midlife, and when I say midlife, I'm talking late 30s, 40s, 50s. And if you're not in those age groups and you're here, that's okay. Nothing I'm teaching you here does not apply to you. So know that even if you're an outlier to that age group, all of this still applies to you. But if you are midlife, know that you are definitely in the right spot, because all of my teachings come from those hormonal shifts that you'll experience once you hit your late 30s, into your 40s, especially, and then also into your 50s. So use your Q&A box whenever you have questions or concerns, and I will make sure and touch on those as well. And I'm Melissa. If you are new to me, welcome. I am a registered nurse. I was a nurse for 15 years in women's health, and I am now in my 6th year as a women's health coach. I run the company Mindfully Well Coaching, and I focus my teachings on women's weight loss and building energy, and also hormones and stress. Because as you'll know after this week, if we don't have our hormones in check, if we don't have our stress under control and well managed, then weight loss simply isn't going to happen. And I'm not somebody who's going to put a Band-Aid approach on anything. And so we focus on the root cause approach to your weight loss, and that comes with hormones and stress. I also am certified in weight loss resistance. So a lot of my teachings will come from that as well. I'm here to make sure that you never get to a point of weight loss resistance. If you come to me and you lose weight easily, that's fantastic. We're not going to put your body into a spot where eventually it would become resistant. A little bit about me. I live outside of T. We have 3 kids in South Dakota. T, if you're not familiar where T is, it's a small town in South Dakota. But I have been where you are, tired and frustrated and simply over it, and over not knowing what your body is doing, over dieting, over trying to chase weight loss all the time in order to feel a certain way about your body. I've helped hundreds of women lose weight in midlife for the very last time. And I'm so happy that you joined me today because you can be one of the next hundreds and even thousands. And so I'm going to also be totally transparent with you. I'm going to talk about my program, Mindfully Well. It's this guy back here this week as well, because it's my signature weight loss program. And that's where I can really, truly help you dive in and help you reach your weight loss goals. And if you're listening to or watching the replays, at the end of each replay email every week, I'm going to be asking you a question. And this question is there to help you really think about how you're going to do this the right way. And all you have to do is respond back to that email and with your answer. And then I'm going to have a winner every day for a prize for a gift card. So tomorrow's prize for today's replay is going to be a $50 Amazon gift card. And I do that because I really want your wheels to get turning on why you're going to do it differently this time. And the deal on the Amazon gift card is that you cannot use it to buy your kids underwear or school supplies or anything that your kids have been bugging you about. You have to use it on yourself. That's the only caveat of that Amazon gift card. Okay, so this week's agenda, and I'm going to try to be done a half hour to 45 minutes each day because I know you got stuff to do in the evenings and I want to give you what you need to know and let it be gold. Everything I give you is going to like really drive it home for you. And then you can get on with your evening. I don't want to spend hours I don't want to ask you for 3 hours this week because I know that you don't really have 3 hours to give me. I'm already thankful enough that you're showing up for that you signed up for it, but I'm going to try to be as concise as I can and give you all the gold as quickly as I can because I know you got bath time, I know you got homework, I know you got to shuttle kids places, and also you maybe want to go for a walk, and you want to go to bed. So today we're going to talk about stress and weight loss. Tomorrow we're going to talk about hormonal balance so that you can achieve weight loss. And then on Thursday, we're going to tie it all together about breaking through weight loss resistance. You also have a PDF you can use to follow through this week. You don't have to use it if you don't want to. You don't have to go digging into your email thinking you need to have it. But it's a great guide, a great place for you to take notes. And then also there's some checklists in there that will help you see what you need to work on to create energy because energy always comes before weight loss. And you are here because you have tried it all, right? You've done all the things, but now nothing seems to be working. And you've maybe thought, maybe I really am overeating, or maybe I just need to burn more calories during my workouts. I'm going to aim for, I don't know, 1,000 calories a day instead of 500. Maybe you think that this is just normal and it's a part of aging. And you likely watched your mom go through it. And she's like, oh, honey, it's fine. This is just part of getting older. Just accept it. And you've tried the fasting, you've tried shakes, you've tried macros, you've tried points, you've done it all. And you end up at the same place or even worse. And I've created this week as a way to undiet. And so many of us were taught how to diet from a very young age. We were never taught how to move our bodies. We were never taught how to fuel our bodies as adult women and how to move and live powerfully as women on purpose. I want you to remember that dieting is disempowerment. Using a diet is harnessing willpower to achieve healthy eating perfectionism, right? Whenever you do a diet, the diet has rules that you have to stick by, and you think that you must do that in order to achieve your result. I want you to look at your past with dieting and how you felt both during and after. You think you're gaining control, but you actually end up with less control because you allow a diet to tell you exactly how to eat, but it doesn't ever address the lifestyle that you need. Its only focus is on weight loss. And I work with women who are driven and ambitious and high achieving, and you're also burned out and tired. And here's why. Most women will come to my practice trying to lose weight most of their lives. They've always believed that their body was a problem and that it needed to be fixed. But nothing needs to be fixed when it's not broken. When you believe that your body is broken, how do you treat it? You treat it with a large calorie deficit, with more cardio, with less sleep, with more trash talk, with more, it's not good enough. And then following a cookie cutter plan and like really micromanaging and freaking out about the scale. And when you do those things, your result is that you end up to be completely exhausted. You can't keep going, you give up, you never actually get a result. And then you start over when you regain energy and get fed up with how you feel. And you never establish a life and you don't have a relationship you love with food, with your body, yourself. And every time you do this, you put yourself into a worse position each time you try without success. Because when something was built for failure, not success, you end up with a result that you didn't ever want. You end up with another disappointment, wasting your energy and more money down the drain. Your past with dieting no longer defines. Let me look at this. Okay, awesome. Okay, I wanted to look at the chat because I'm like, there's a lot of chats in here. I want to make sure I'm not missing something. Okay. And I want you to remember that your past with dieting, it no longer defines who you are today. You can let it go. Let it be what it was. And now it's really irrelevant in terms of where you're going from today. Because those solutions of dieting didn't work for you because they needed constant focus, willpower, effort, and also being perfect. Perfect. They didn't require what you actually need, and that's a lifestyle. You had to micromanage everything constantly in order to succeed, and that's just not doable. Your failure in the past, actually, and I always say there's never any failures, they're only learning events, but it has nothing to do with your future because we want your future to truly be your lifestyle. When you don't have a lifestyle, what you have is a strict diet, a strict protocol that you must follow to a T in order to get to a result. And here's the thing that requires constant willpower. And as humans, we have a limited capacity for emotional energy throughout the day. We all know that because we get to 5 p.m. and all of a sudden we let loose and we're in the junk food cupboard just eating everything because our emotional capacity has diminished by that time. And as highly as we can perform at our jobs and as moms, we can burn out, which I'm going to talk a lot about this week. And then also think about all that emotional energy that's required of you in 1 week's time outside of a strict diet. You have work deadlines, you have annoying coworkers, you have kids that demand a lot of you, and you also have to be everywhere at the same time. And there's so much that we have to be in charge of that micromanaging your diet just isn't one of those things that's going to work out for you. And so I want you to make sure that you're leaving those past dieting experiences in the past. They're not personal. They don't mean anything about you. Okay, so I want to talk about what do you actually want? Because you would know that you can change your life by simply making your next best decision anytime that you have a protocol that you're following. You would realize that when you're establishing a lifestyle, that a slip up actually means nothing about you or nothing about your progress. It's actually just part of it. You would always have your back and you would feel confident with your decisions. And you would be the woman who ultimately does what she said she would do in a loving, disciplined, and compassionate way. You can have all of those things. And that's what I want to teach you is that you can follow through without being a mean girl to yourself, because that's really what you want. Here's the thing. You think that you want weight loss. And yes, that is probably true. You do want to lose weight. But what you actually want down to the core of who you are is the feeling of weight loss. We don't actually want a number on the scale. We want to feel a certain way about our bodies. So, what are those feelings that you're looking for? I want you to ask yourself that today. You're looking for freedom. You're looking for confidence. You're looking for happiness, success, ease, clarity, autonomy to show your kids how not to diet and continue to hate their bodies, appreciation for yourself, and self-trust. So, what went wrong? I want you to know that the way that you feel today has everything to do with your food, movement, and stress. I want you to unlearn everything you thought you knew about weight loss because now you're doing it the right way. You've rinsed and repeated the same old routine. Count the calories or take out food groups, restrict your diet, get hangry, and then say screw it. But I want you to know it was never about the calories. It was actually never about you overeating. It was actually about the stress going on inside your body and outside of your life. It's about your body not feeling safe with the environment that you put it in. The undereating, the overworking, the day-to-day stress, the blood sugar instability, the hormonal imbalances, inflammation, and gut health. These are the reasons why you can't lose weight. It's not because you're eating too much. Here's something I want you to remember throughout this week because your body was never made to diet. Your body just wants to be alive. That's it. So it's going to use all of its protective tools to do that. And when you've dieted on and on most of your life, your body is in an all-time protection mode. It does not feel safe. And a body that doesn't feel safe will not lose weight. It will either gain weight or hold on desperately to what it has because body fat is a very precious resource and you'll end up in weight loss resistance. So think about this example. You're on a deserted island and you have 1 gallon of water and it's just you. How are you going to use that water? You're going to be very meticulous about that water. You're going to try to create more water with the water you have. You're going to reuse the water container with rainwater. You're going to ration it. You're not going to share it with birds or any animals that you find. You're going to do everything you can to save that water. Your body is the same way with body fat. Body fat is one of the most precious resources that your body has. It's its lifeline. And I want you to see this in a different light because your body will lose weight. Your body can lose weight, and it does that with safety. And you're in charge of showing your body safety. And how do you do this? You manage your stress. And when I say manage your stress today, I'm not telling you to go out and meditate. I'm not telling you to go out and quit your job. I'm going to really play this out for you so you can see all the areas of stress in your life that's truly impacting you. So let's talk about the stress, weight loss, weight gain connection because weight loss itself is a stressor on the body, right? You're reducing calorie intake or you're putting your body into a spot where it has an energy deficit. And anytime you do that, your body is going to be on alert for stress, right? And so weight loss itself is a stressor on your body. And if that's a stressor on your body and then your life stress is unmanaged, your body is going to fight back. Your body always has your back. Your body always knows what it's doing. So let's talk about what happens when you're experiencing stress so you can really understand how it affects your weight loss or your lack of weight loss. Because I believe when you know better, you can do better and you can really start seeing yourself with compassion and self-love instead of thinking that something is wrong with you and that you've done something bad. So let's say that you're walking through your hallway at home and you're putting toys away, putting the laundry away, whatever. You're off in la la land thinking about your to-do list. And your precious little 8-year-old who I have an 8-year-old and he is obsessed with scaring me all the time. I've been telling this story for years. He still is obsessed with scaring me. And now it's going to be Halloween. So now he's just going to be walking around with a Halloween mask all the time. And he loves to do it because it works so easily. Anyway, your 8-year-old is hiding behind his closet door. You go to open it and he purposely scares the bejesus out of you and you scream and immediately your brain senses danger. You jump, you scream without a thought, right? It's very involuntary. And this is coming from your sympathetic nervous system. This is involuntary. It just automatically happens. And then it releases adrenaline, which is your fight or flight hormone. Or also fight or flight. We also want to know that there's two other responses, and the other two responses are freeze and fawn, because most women are not fight or flighters. We're not going to like punch our kid in the face. We're also not usually going to flight or run away, but we will like freeze and not do anything, or we will fawn, and that will look like overly taking care of others, completely ignoring ourselves. Anyway, in this instance, your heart rate is going to increase. You're going to have adrenaline flowing intensely. Your muscles will be tense. Your breathing becomes more shallower. And then glucose is actually released into your bloodstream so that you can use that glucose or that energy to move out of harm's way. And then the other thing that happens is that digestion actually slows so that you use your energy to move away from danger. Now, all of this happens instantaneously. And then you're like, oh, it's just my kid being a kid. There's no danger. Cool. I'm going to go ahead and put these shorts away and go on with my day. But then what actually happens internally is that your body's like, wait a minute, we were just scared. We released adrenaline. I'm not really sure about this. So now I'm going to release cortisol just in case. Your body doesn't know that it was your kid, right? Your mind knows it now, but your body is still trying to grasp what just happened. And it's going to try to make sure you're okay because your body always has your back. So now you have cortisol released into your bloodstream from your adrenals. Your adrenals are your little glands sitting on top of your kidneys. They're right over here in this picture. And they matter a lot when it comes to your weight loss. And the other thing is, I'm talking about cortisol, but I want you to know that cortisol, we do want cortisol and we want it at the right times of day, in the right amounts. But the problem that we are ending up with is that we are having cortisol released too often. And then this leads to hormonal imbalances and weight gain. So speaking of cortisol, you have cortisol floating around. Cortisol is a hormone, and all hormones are messengers. Cortisol will send the message to hold on to body fat, right? Why would we burn body fat if cortisol is around too much? That doesn't make sense, right? Your body feels danger. Cortisol is around. We're not going to burn body fat for a fuel, right? We're going to keep that there because things aren't good here. We might need that. And then adrenaline, which was released, it sends the message of release sugar. We need to move out of danger. And then we have ghrelin, which is your hunger hormone, that will send the message to eat more food. And then we have insulin, another hormone that sends the message that we have sugar here. We don't need to burn body fat. You don't burn body fat. Your body will never burn body fat when there's an abundant amount of sugar in your bloodstream to be used for energy, because going into your body fat storage is an energetic process. That's more work. Your body always wants efficiency, and it's going to do that by using the sugar in your bloodstream. It's not ever going to go into your fat stores. This is just a brief overview on what happens when you're stressed. But here, that's an example of like a problem that happens every now and then. But that's not actually the problem, right? Because we're not struggling with our kids scaring us in the closet. We are struggling with the chronic overactivation of this system in response to our normal day-to-day life of sitting in traffic and running late, work deadlines, food stress, you skipping meals, unstable blood sugar, feeling intense about finances, any day-to-day stuff, any day-to-day stress that we are creating stress responses over. Our kids fighting, our kids being demanding, our kids are annoying. All of those, when we have those thoughts about our stress, we are going to release a stress response, just like in that other slide. We are creating that over and over and over again, which is a dysfunction of your nervous system. Because when you're in fight or flight mode or freeze and fawn, you cannot lose weight. And this isn't something that some people are dealing with. Most of you are dealing with, and I dare to bet 100% of you that are listening to this today are dealing with this chronic overactivation of stress. Many times you're not even aware of this because you think it's normal because your Susie, the neighbor, is doing it too. And so is your sister-in-law. And so is that girl over there. We compare ourselves to everyone. We're like, I think this is just normal life. And our bodies are desperately trying to get our attention to say, this is not normal. Please stop doing that. Look at our world. Look at the epidemic of obesity. This is not just a food problem. This is a stress problem. You are stuck in overactivation where the stress response keeps happening because You'll keep saying yes to everything besides yourself. The problem is not necessarily the stress. The problem is how you are managing it and how you are taking care of yourself through this. You let stress be the reason you're also reactive, let alone the internal stress that's going on. Your body's desperately trying to keep you alive. But then you go ahead and let stress be the reason why you want to choose the quick and easy for dinner tonight. Or you just can't get up and do your workout because you're so overwhelmed, and you'll do it when life gets easier. But when you walk around with the thoughts of, I'm so stressed, how do you think you feel? And how do you think you act? And how do you create the result that you want? Because you're acting on foods that are very quick and easy. You're reactive throughout the day instead of proactive. You work 40 hours a week and have to take care of your kids at home. And then you think that maybe your kids' behaviors are your fault and your husband just doesn't get it and your boss wants this from you, and you are tired and you are undernourished and you are not sleeping well and you're just trying to get through the day. Does this sound familiar? Because when cortisol is hanging around all the time, what do you think that's telling your body? Things aren't good here. Hold on to your resources. Do not burn body fat. And when she eats, be sure to store it. When your stress response is triggered too often, eventually it becomes numb to the response of stress. It becomes kind of like the boy who cried wolf. You keep triggering it over and over and over again. Your body produces cortisol all the time, and then your cortisol goes through the roof. You'll start to store body fats. You start to not sleep well. You start to be very reactive and anxious. And yes, Melissa, I have not met you, but I do know you. I know everyone on the other side of the screen. So your body will become numb to this response eventually, right? It gets basically this is where adrenal burnout or adrenal fatigue comes from. Your adrenals actually aren't fatigued. They're not actually burned out. But here I'm going to say the honest thing, and I'm going to swear, is that they're sick of your bullshit. They're sick of you producing stress responses over and over again, and it doesn't ever seem to be appropriate. And so your body now tries to protect you, and it refuses to release cortisol. And what this will feel like is, of course, my dog is going to bark. Let me close my office door. And then what this will feel like is that you feel tired on top of tired. So you can actually feel tired with too much cortisol. But once your body starts to downregulate, now you feel tired on top of tired. You're like, I didn't even know I could get more tired, but I'm so tired. And it often happens at that 4 or 5, 3 p.m. mark. And it feels like you have boulders on your feet. Like it's hard to walk. It's hard to move your body because you're so fatigued. Um, and this also will lead to low energy production. So you feel very tired. And then eventually it leads to low sex hormone production. So your estrogen will be low, your testosterone will be low, your ovulation will stop. And then this also produces hormonal imbalances eventually. And we'll talk more about that tomorrow. But all of this is, in a nutshell, it's adrenal burnout or adrenal fatigue. Just to reiterate, nothing is actually tired besides you. It's just your body trying to protect you, and it's sick of you creating a stress response unnecessarily. Okay. Where am I in my slides here? Here we go. All right. So what I want you to see here is that it's not just about weight. This is about your health. It's about the joy and the presence of your life and not just going through the motions. Because when you get to this point, you are really going through the emotions because of intense fatigue. And if all of that sounds overwhelming, if what I just kind of laid out for you sounds overwhelming, don't worry. Eventually, by Thursday, this is going to make sense for you because I'm going to repeat some of the things over so you can see how the puzzle pieces are fitting together. That's one thing about weight loss resistance is that it can feel very scary and intimidating and like you are truly stuck and that there is no way out of it. But I can assure you that these are just puzzle pieces that need to be put back together. There are solutions and there are answers for you. And we're going to keep talking about that this week. That's why I do it in a whole week, because if I gave this all to you in one little webinar, you would be like, I don't know what to do. This is overwhelming, right? So I give you puzzle pieces and we're going to put it all together. And trust me, when I teach you these things, it's all building on top of it. I also believe that when you know better, you can do better. And a lot of people, many of you will thrive better on knowing exactly what's going on. And that also, it gives you so much like you feel seen, you feel validated on how you feel, because I know for me, like I had adrenal fatigue, adrenal burnout. I still struggle with it. And my husband does not get it. He's like, I don't understand how you can be so tired all the time. I'm like, I don't either. And it can feel like, am I making it up? Is this just what normal feels like? Should I just like buck up and be like, this is how it is? But I want you to feel very validated in how you feel, because these are really happening. Your body is actually adjusting. Your body is communicating to you. It's okay to listen and it's okay to do something different. These stressors that you're dealing with day in and day out, they're so much more dangerous on your health than just the weight gain and the weight loss being increasingly difficult. And this isn't about your kids scaring you from the closet. This is about you saying yes to the things that you need to say no to. It's about you having no boundaries with anybody around you, but also yourself. And then also, you're just not managing the day-to-day stress very well. You think that everything is a problem. And the problem is actually that you're not fueling your body properly. You're not taking care of the basic needs that you have as an adult woman with a high stress life. You're sending signal after signal that food sources are scarce because you are skipping meals, you're just trying to get by. And also, when you do eat, the food is full of crap. Your environment is far more than what your body would like to handle at this point. And when we start to, oops, sorry, I jumped ahead. The problem is that you're not taking the pilot seat in your own life when you're stressed and deciding to take responsibility for the things you do have control over. You can't always take away the stressors, right? Like you can't quit your job today. You can't get rid of your kids or your family. If we took away all your stressors, you'd have to move to a deserted island by yourself and just like sit there on the beach all day with a martini. Like that's not the goal. The goal is to actually become aware. You're always in a stress state, and we can't be in a stress state and be in rest and digest. Rest and digest is the other side of that nervous system, which is the parasympathetic nervous system. And that's the one you want to be in. That's the one that you have to be in order to lose weight, in order to have hormonal balance. It's not one or the other. And what do you think happens when you're in rest? Safe, productive weight loss, energy production, a happy woman, deep restorative rest, sleep, feelings of joy, confidence, understanding yourself, and building trust. These are all the things that you actually want, that you are desperately looking inside for, that you think you'll achieve with weight loss. And yes, you'll achieve it with weight loss, but it's not because of the weight loss. It's because of who you have become in that process. It means finally being present with your family instead of crabby and reactive because you're full of annoyance and your mind is cluttered with overwhelming thoughts. And you also stepped on the scale and you gained another 2 pounds and you worry that you'll never feel good again. I mean, how often do you take your frustrations of stress and overwhelm and being mad at yourself or feeling the way you do out on your family only to feel guilty 5 minutes later? What if you could take that off your shoulders and that you don't have to keep doing this over and over again and that there is truly a solution for you? And rest and digest, it is a part of Mindfully Well coaching in my practice. Because if you can't do that, then you can't lose weight. End of story. Plus, you want the feeling of weight loss. Remember, you want the feeling of joy and contentment and freedom and trusting yourself. Weight loss will not feel great if you're running around in your head completely disconnected from your body. You know that feeling, right? And I don't just tell you to manage your stress and mindfully well, FYI, because I know that you've been told by your doctor or anybody else in your life that you just need to manage your stress. Just get a hold of it. Just do less. I know you can actually do that. If you could actually do less, you would have done that by now. I give you the tools to help you and guide you and hold you accountable to being able to manage your stress, but ultimately being able to do that from the perception of your mind, teaching you how to be in the driver's seat to your own stress. I'm not just giving you the fish, I'm going to teach you how to fish. And this is a two-way street, right? So we are dealing with internal stress and we're dealing with external stress. And that's the stress that your mind communicates to your body. Like I just talked about in that scenario where your mind perceived stress, it created the stress response, and your body created all of those stress hormones. There's the other way that this happens is that our body is incredibly stressed from inflammation, from poor gut health, from hormonal imbalances, from blood sugar instability, which we're going to talk a lot about tomorrow. That is your body stress. And when your body is physically stressed from those things inside, your mind now perceives a lot of stress. So your body is feeling intense stress, and then your kid comes in and asks for something while you're trying to do something, your mind will freak out way quicker than what it really needs to be because your body is sending the signal that we're not that great in here. Can you please try to limit the noise out there? Can you please try to do less? Can you please, like take care of me a little bit better than what you're doing? And so then anything outside of you that your mind could perceive as stressful now perceives as incredibly stressful. It now just elevates it. Everything becomes more noisy, everything becomes more pokey. And that's because the internal stress that your body is experiencing is sending signals to your mind to not take on any more stress. Get rid of stress as soon as you can. And that's what makes you very reactive. We have got to stop our emotional body from hurting our physical body. So, where do we start with this? Now, let me tell you from the depths of my soul how important this is to you. This is gold. If you never take anything from me ever again, if you never purchase anything from me, if you never work with me, you must take these questions with you and take them with you for the rest of your life. Write them down, put them everywhere you can, because this is literal gold that I'm giving you. I have 4 stress awareness questions that will completely change the narrative on which you perceive your stress. The first question is, how do I know I'm stressed? And you're going to be like, these questions are so simple. How do they actually change? Well, I can assure you, you're not actually asking yourself these questions day to day. And that's what needs to change. So, how do I know I'm stressed, right? What are the actions that you're doing that would display to you or anybody else looking down on you, or if you were to take a bird's eye view on yourself, that you are stressed? For me, it's swearing when I drive. I will swear when I drive when I'm stressed. That's a good indicator. The other thing is that I'm very short with my family. I don't have a very high tolerance for conversation. I will eat more dark chocolate, right? So those are my symptoms of stress. What are your symptoms of stress? Start paying attention to yourself. The other good indicator is, what do you feel guilty about 5 minutes later? That is a symptom of stress. Where do you feel stress in your body? You have got to create that connection, your mind-body connection. I feel stress often, and you're usually going to feel it along your spine because this is where many of our energy centers lie. So it could be all the way up from your jaws, all the way down to your sacral. It will usually feel intense. It will feel fast. It will be very, very quick. Slow energy is very calm energy. Fast energy is very stressful energy. So where do you feel it in your body so you can create that mind body connection? Because sometimes you don't actually realize that you're stressed until you're like, oh, my jaw really hurts. And you're like, well, why would my jaw hurt? Well, maybe you're holding a lot of stress in here, right? And then ask yourself, why am I stressed? And here's the kicker about this question is that it can never be the circumstance around you. You cannot say, I'm stressed because of my job. You have to say, I am stressed because I believe this about myself at my job. It always comes back to you because you are the one that is creating the thoughts in the first place and then creates that feeling of stress. So And let's say I'm going to use this example. So I'm single parenting it this week, and I'm also doing this week. So that feels like a lot, right? So if, for example, my kid would be home or my kids would be home tonight, I sent them away. If they would be home tonight and my 8-year-old ran into my office and demanded something of me when I told him to stay out, I would feel immediately stressed. But I don't actually feel stressed because he came in here. I feel stressed because I am now perceiving myself as inadequate. I'm being an inadequate mom. I'm being an inadequate coach on this webinar. And it always comes back to me and how I think about myself in this stressor. Okay. So it's never the kid, it's never him. It's actually always me. It's never the job. It's always actually you. It's never your significant other. It's always actually you. And although that feels heavy, guess what? That's the best news I can ever give you because you can always fix you. You can never fix those around you. You can never fix the circumstances around you, but you can always, always, always fix you. And then lastly, the one that ties it all together, is this a problem? Most of the time, it's never actually a problem. Because here's the differentiator is that we actually do have to create stress responses for situations where you need a stress response, you need to act quickly, you need to be on top of your game, right? So if my kid came in here and he had a big gash in his head and he was bleeding everywhere, I would need a stress response to get him to the hospital, to tie this meeting up, to go tell somebody else to do something, right? I would need to be very focused on that. And I do have to have a stress response for that. But I actually don't have to have a stress response if he comes barging into my office right now. That doesn't help anything, right? So if he came barging into my office, is this an actual problem that I need a stress response for? No, it isn't. Actually, I need a response that's very calm, very in control, so he can hear my words and he doesn't hear my screaming. Right? Do you see the difference there? So many times we're screaming about the things and we're yelling about the socks on the floor because I didn't know that parenting involved so many socks and so many missing socks. I struggle with that every single day. And sometimes I find myself getting worked up about all of these missing socks. And then I'm like, this is not a problem. When did I start to believe that the socks were a problem in my house? Right? Problems that we need a stress response for are life-threatening situations, not sock problems. Okay, that's what I have for, let me stop that and so I can see my chat box. That's the slideshow for today. I hope that was super helpful. You guys are all here. Okay. Weight loss, toning from Amanda. I'm hoping to learn how to prevent these shaky attacks I get from assuming low blood sugar. Yes, we're going to learn about that tomorrow. April's from Sioux Falls, looking for help in losing weight in perimenopause. You are in the right place without medications while gaining muscle and maintaining energy for lifting and running. Perfect. Beautiful. Love it. I am going to help you with all of that. Hi, I'm Melissa, also just hoping to learn more about the best ways to eat and exercise for perimenopause. You are in the right place. This is the Melissa Club. What? There are a lot of Melissas. Oh my God. Okay. Just need to know what I don't know. I definitely need help. Amanda says I'm stuck. There's a lot of Amandas and Melissas in here. 1980s babies, right? We're all in perimenopause. If your name is Melissa or Amanda, raise your hand, and everyone is in perimenopause, and now is the time to start taking care of your hormones. Exercise 5 to 6 days a week. You eat fairly healthy. You do have cheat days because you're a human. Definitely hit a plateau. You're frustrated. Turn 40, busting your butt, gain 10 pounds in the last 10 years. What am I doing wrong? Which exercise is best? Perfect. You're in the right place. I'm just going to give you one piece of advice right now, Amanda, is that 5 to 6 days a week in perimenopause is too much. You should be strength training. You should be lifting weights. That should be the majority of your workouts. 5 to 6 days a week when you're strictly strength training is not enough time to give your body to recover in between those. I would just, word of advice right here, go down to 4, maybe 5. 5 is pushing it, and that would be a week that you feel fantastic. 4 days a week, strength training, get that muscle on your body. That's going to be your lifesaver. We're going to keep talking about that, but I'm just going to note that right there. And then Samantha has her mind blown. Wonderful. Melissa's 1979. Yes, really close. All right, guys, this is great. And I actually stayed stayed on time, 45 minutes. This one was a little longer because I did a little bit of an intro. But come back tomorrow. We're going to segue from stress into hormonal balance because these guys are very much so interconnected. We have to have stress under control in order for hormonal balance to happen, in order for weight loss to happen. So make sure to come back tomorrow. And Bridget is wanting to dial herself in because one size doesn't fit all, doing lots of research on hormones and cortisol. It's confusing. Yes, absolutely. And I do my best, my very best to make sure that it's as least confusing as possible. So if anything is ever confusing, please let me know because I'm happy to break it down better for you. All right, my friends, I will see you next week. Also, keep your eye open for Mindfully Well. Enrollment is going to be happening. You get to enroll tomorrow, so watch for your enrollment email. And yeah, let's go. This is so much fun. I will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.